Hey traders, checking in on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. Elon Musk to the rescue. We were right on top of 53,000 key support, and he comes out with a tweet just in time for the bulls to save that support level. I've been saying for a couple years now that Elon Musk is well aware of technical analysis and charts. Just watching how he releases his news and his tweets relative to Tesla at key technical levels, and he's certainly well aware of shorts and how that game works. And last night, just further proof of that in my opinion. Let's look at the charts. So Bitcoin last night, we had the 4-hour bounce. We set the lower high right off EMA 12 resistance. We were then fading back down to the 53,000 low, and we bounced off 53,500. His tweet came out in the wee hours of the morning on the East Coast here, increasing bull volume in response to it, and that changed the hourly trend, which then changed the 4-hour trend, which then has a more convincing bounce off of what I am considering a double bottom at 53,000. So I had my stop loss at 52,999, and I missed stopping out on my swing position by $1 on Coinbase, but we're watching a tightening daily range. So we've got our high, low, lower high, and I'm viewing this as a double bottom. Anything under 60.1 thousand is a lower high, and I'm watching a 4-hour chart until it breaks, and it's this one. Little support line and a downtrending resistance line. So keeping an eye on that until it breaks and patiently just holding my swing position. The bulls, if we see a bit more follow through, there will be bulls to look to buy daily higher lows compared to 53,000 once we do top out on this current bounce. As far as the news itself from Elon Musk, so again, going to accept Bitcoin for Teslas. And the bigger news for me is the fact that they are not going to convert it to US dollars from there. They're going to hold it as Bitcoin, which shows essentially confidence and accumulation. And that's what we at the Chart Guys did in 2017 and 2018. Every payment that we received in crypto for our courses or for membership, we didn't convert any of it and just sat on it as a long-term investment. And that obviously has paid off really well, and looking for more companies to ideally do this, because again, all that does is just strengthen the holders. So good news. I want to see more companies join Musk in putting it on the balance sheet, because again, now you've got Saylor and Musk, and it's easy for the business world to look at those two and say, yeah, they're just some crazy CEOs that are going crazy with Bitcoin, and I'm dismissing it. But as soon as you start to see some legitimate names where you can't just point and say they're crazy, that's going to be a game changer in my opinion, as far as really starting to shift the psychology of the, we'll call them mainstream business world. So tightening daily range, the weekly consolidation at this point, again, very healthy, higher lows, uptrends all over the place. And we would clearly have to break 53,000 to change anything. That is now the line in the sand level. Simple statements. If 53,000 is holding, the bulls are in complete control. If 53,000 breaks, that changes. So that is the level that we're watching in the short term. The dominance chart still not doing anything. Still sideways. The daily did drop down towards our lows. Weekly chart tightening up. Held that low, and again, it's just a 6-7 week long equilibrium at this point, which will break sometime within the next 3 weeks in my opinion, and it'll be notable which direction we see that break take place. On a bear break, the altcoins are going to be strengthening against Bitcoin, and on a bull break, it'll be the opposite. At the moment, there are not many altcoins that have bullish BTC pairing charts, and that's notable to me. You can definitely find some, but there's not a lot of them. So again, it's a picker's market as far as the altcoin space is concerned for those looking to outperform what Bitcoin is doing. ETHUSD did break support. It's a much more clear bear break because we broke that level by $50, $55. So zoom out because it's a weekly equilibrium. And if you look at some of the miners in the stock world, look at Riot. It's already doing it. Weekly equilibrium. Looking for a weekly higher low, ETHUSD doing the same thing, and over the past week or two, we've been talking in these videos how there's a ton of altcoins setting up for weekly equilibriums. While the weekly lower high is now set on ETH, and we're scouting a weekly higher low, anything above 1292. That's a ton of space for the bulls to form it. ETH BTC, breaking bear. Only support down here is 03. 024, I said 0294, 029. Not many support levels here. What's most important for me is the continuous lower highs. Every single bounce is just a daily lower high, which is keeping Bitcoin stronger than Ethereum, bigger picture. As long as those lower highs keep forming, that will continue to be the case. Theta USDT. Upper wick forming on the daily time frame, looking like a temporary top is potentially being set. It has just been, again, the teacher's pet for what bulls want to see as far as altcoin, Bitcoin pairings, I should say US dollar BTC pairings on an altcoin, and the 4-hour time frame is still in an uptrend at this point, but this is the kind of pullback where I would be watching for a 4-hour lower high and a potential top fish to lead to daily consolidation. So if I have a position that I want to swing trade, maybe I hedge it, or maybe I exit partial position on a 4-hour lower high, because if we bounce, set the 4-hour higher low, fail 15, and then lose the 4-hour uptrend, again, that's just a clear indication that daily consolidation is underway. Tons of space for the daily higher low. It's just looking a little bit toppy in the short term. And the BTC pairing is doing the same thing. 4-hour time frame, still looking for a higher low, but a big enough pullback that we will be scouting a 4-hour lower high on this bounce. And if you want to be a real aggressive bear, you're top fishing that 4-hour lower high. ADA USDT, daily inside bars, 2 in a row. If they break bullish, we scout a daily lower high compared to the double top at the all-time high. If we get a bear break, we're looking down at support of $1. So just tightening up here. Bulls really want that break, but we are closing in on weekly consolidation. And actually, we already had a weekly higher low. 985 is the most important support. If we break 985 from here, you can consider it a double top and loss of support, which would equate to a downtrend on the weekly chart. But as far as I'm concerned, just watching the inside bars. Bull break, we scout the daily lower high. Bear break, it's all about 985. ADA BTC, no daily trend change. Solid bull move for 3 days on Coinbase news, but never confirmed the daily trend. Again, the trend changes are so important on names that are coming off of prolonged pullbacks, because you get that initial move and it looks big, but it's really just a mini short squeeze. And you take all pressure off the shorts if you cannot confirm daily trend changes. And it shows you a lack of sustained buying as well. So it's still possible to pull off, but obviously the bulls would have hoped to have set a daily higher low by now, heading back to that resistance level. So just a short-term bull move, and it didn't even register significantly on the US dollar chart. Well, I guess it did. Got back up to the double top. But again, inability to break that resistance and inability to confirm the Bitcoin pairing trend change. Link USD also slowly fading. So the weekly time frame, the equilibrium is tightening up. We're scouting weekly higher lows compared to 21. Any altcoin that is in this weekly equilibrium, if I'm an altcoin trader, I am using smaller positions to allow for the amount of wiggle room needed to be playing off of weekly supports, but I would be scouting, weekly swing entries on higher lows. It would require, in my opinion, a big Bitcoin drop if these altcoins were going to just confirm weekly downtrends. It's a possibility, but I would be scouting weekly higher lows and tightening weekly ranges into and potentially through most of April. Link BTC, continuing to watch the falling wedge on the daily time frame. Again, there's no sign to be making any moves based on this chart. All this chart tells me is pay attention for a spike to occur seemingly out of nowhere. So this is the pattern to be watching, and we'll see if we bounce and maintain the downward sloping support. And again, we might not get any action on this as far as an actionable signal for another week plus. Binance, daily double top. So the most important resistance is 278 from here. And we were close to breaking bullish. The Bitcoin pairing did break short-term resistance levels, But with the Tesla news focusing all attention on Bitcoin over the last 12 hours or so, that leads to a drop in even the names that we're starting to see some strength comparative to Bitcoin. So on the US dollar, have to see 240 hold and have to see 278 break for the bulls to regain some short-term control. And again, possible to see a tightening range here as well. We had our high and the low of the consolidation. It wasn't a weekly high or low, but it is a low of consolidation at 186. Lower high potentially being set. And if we do pull back, we'll look for a higher low compared to 186. So altcoin equilibriums on the weekly time frame are on watch for many names. Bitcoin 53,000 is a must-hold short-term level for the bulls to keep complete confidence and control. Stock market world is still seeing a lot of shuffling around, a lot of rotation going on. Little bit of weakness in the tech sector the past few days, but a little bit of bounce in the financial sector today. So they're offsetting each other, and it's really just a tug of war going on right now. And a lack of clarity. Right now in March, in the stock trading world, I have my least amount of profit in the last 7 months of trading. And there's just been a couple times where it's clear to me that it's a choppy market environment, which for me means trading less. And Bitcoin's doing something similar. I mean, tightening up on the daily. You could call it a little bit choppy. It's fairly clear, but sideways in tightening range over the last 2 weeks, which is what we're seeing in a lot of the stock market world as well. Sideways, more choppy ranges. So we'll continue to monitor, set your game plans, watch those weekly higher lows on the alts. Have a good rest of your day. Don't forget to do good things. I'm going to end it here. A couple buddies of mine in college are in a band, and musicians need all the help they can get as they try and get the ball rolling here 1 year after things shut down, trying to open things back up again, and certainly difficult to do for musicians. So I'm going to link in the description of this video their social media stuff, and even just a like and a follow. Any of that helps out as they try and get back in the game. And I'll leave you with some shots around the yard. Have a good rest of your day. And the name of the band is Oak and Ash. So Oak and Ash, they're in New York. Thanks for the support.
All the monsters and the nightmares behind. We can worry, we'll start to build the place we had in mind. You can't stop the moment, straight ahead the sun is shining in our eyes. And this is the moment, let this be the first day of our lives. Chase us anymore. No need to have fear, 'cause freedom just came knocking at our door.